Hey guys, I just sold my 1996 Toyota rav4. I thought I was going to keep it, but I decided that maybe I should sell it. I got a decent offer on it, and I would rather get a Honda Element than the rav4, even though I really like the rav4. I think the Honda Element suits me a little bit better because I want more space in the back. The rav4's got a lot of space, don't get me wrong, but I wanted the Honda seats that fold absolutely flat, and you can sleep in it for camping. The rav4, of course, doesn't have that, but I believe that the rav4 is a superior car to the Honda Element. It just, I prefer the looks of the Honda Element a little bit more, and its usability. It's a little bit hard to see this car go because it is an extremely good looking car, I believe. This is in 1996, so that's the first year it came to in the United States. And it's such a good example of a rav4. This one is it's only got 100,000 miles. So that's a very rare thing in itself to have these days. And I really like the two-tone thing that they do with the plastic and then the metal. The Honda Element also does that. And this one is nice because you do have 4 doors. The Element doesn't have this feature because to open the rear door, you have to open the front door first, so that's kind of a hassle. But honestly, I don't really use the rear door very much because I don't haul people around or anything. I just want the Element for camping and doing like some larger trips. So let's look around the rav4. This is going to be my goodbye video to the rav4. Such a good car, man. Like I regret selling it already. It's even got really good tires. I guess the downside of this is that it's not as usable as the Honda Element, but I believe that this rav4 is a superior car to the Honda. There's a reason why the rav4 is still being sold today and the Honda Element is not sold. But in a way, the Honda Element, the only problem, it was aimed towards a different audience that could afford it. This is kind of a neat feature on the rav4. I'm not really sure why anybody would use this. I have seen guys who have turned these rav4s and they put beds and stuff, and they do seem to fit a full-size bed, but it's just so tight in here. It's just a little bit too tight for me. I want a little bit more space. Just to show you like how more useful the Honda Element is, I can fit a small motorcycle in the Honda Element, but I can't fit one here. I could probably fit a Honda Ruckus sideways, but those tires, even when those seats when folded up, they take up a lot of space. It makes more sense to fold it up, kind of like the Honda Element, to the side. And this is a nice feature too. Just having your tools out of the way, because this car doesn't have anything underneath the floor. It's got a very low floor, by the way, and it's got a hitch, so that's something I really want. The hitch though, the tongue weight is only 150 pounds, so that's kind of a terrible tongue weight. Not much usability there, but you know, it is a very small SUV. And it's nice. It's a nice green color. The engine is fantastic. Transmission is fantastic. It's got like a nice grille. The headlights are glass. All of these great things that people take for granted these days. The build quality is fairly good. Now there is a lot of plasticky sort of stuff in the rav4, but when you look inside, so another thing that's really odd about this one, it only has one cup holder. Just one, not 2, not 3, just one cup holder. That's kind of the... I wish Toyota would just put something else in here for another cup. Jeez, it's so odd that it only has one cup holder. But on the door, you have everything laid out properly. This is typical of Toyota, very simple. They pretty much use the same buttons and the layout from car to car. I don't see much difference in this one. This one also has a really good rack. It's the Toyota RAV4 factory rack. It's got 2 airbags. Always nice to have. And then you have power mirrors. You have the dimmer here. You have a little coin slot, and then you have these empty buttons. There are some RAV4s that had sunroofs. This one does not. Here you have a rear differential lock. You know, that's for off-roading. That's beyond me. I don't really use it. You have a cassette deck, which is by Toyota. It's and then you have a little slot here for your phone that works fairly well. In 1996, there weren't smartphones, but that works fairly well. You also have like this security thing that I don't know what it does. Ashtray, and this is the gem of the car, a 5-speed manual transmission. Whenever you look for an old car, you're much better off finding a manual transmission car rather than an automatic. But in a Toyota RAV4, their automatics are fantastic. You don't need to worry. I prefer a 5-speed manual for old cars. For new cars, like, you can get automatics, they're fine. Now the Honda Elements, if you get an automatic, Honda does not make good automatic transmission, so I would avoid it. Get a 5-speed manual if you can for any Honda products. Here's your rear brake, and you have some coin slots here. And look at this, more coin slots here. It's like, I guess in the 90s, everybody was using coins everywhere. You do have seats that are excellent shape. This is very 90s looking, very almost 80s, 90s. It looks fantastic. I like it. Let's start the car up. Okay, oh yeah, the AC works fantastic. For a 90s car, I was very surprised. So here we go, the car is on. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it is very quiet. There's no exhaust leaks, there's nothing. This thing just works. It's typical of Toyota. And I think one of the reasons that I'm regretting selling it already. Now, one of the reasons too that I don't like it too much, I'm not big on SUVs, but I do like the Honda Element, is the terrible gas mileage this gets. You know, it's in the mid-20s, which is typical for a RAV4 of this era. But man, it's hard to kind of go back to mid-20s mileage when you've been driving around in a Prius. You know, the Priuses kind of spoils you with their 50 miles per gallon. But, you know, the Toyota RAV4 has got quite the history. It's one of their most sold cars ever. I believe the new one is the most sold car by Toyota. This car makes a really good car for new drivers as well, because it's relatively safe. It's got 2 airbags. From, you know, in the 90s, there was very few airbags. The Nissan hardbody there has got no airbags. That's a 93. So they really made quite a strive with this thing. So only 104,000 miles. But, well guys, that's the RAV4. I really am gonna miss this car. I thought I was gonna be keeping it and turning it into a camper. But I find that maybe a Honda Element is a little bit better for me because I want the versatility that the Element has. But this car, if I kept it, I wouldn't mind it. It's a really fantastic car, and they're so reliable. If you get any Toyota that you can get, they're extremely reliable. And this is one of the most reliable ones you can get as well. And it still looks good. For a 1990s car, it looks fantastic. I don't think you can get a better SUV than one of these early 90, mid-90 SUVs. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.